So, it's 7 a.m. I'm on my way to the office with my coffee in hand. I arrive at my office for my 7 o'clock meeting, big boardroom, working in an agency in Toronto, Yorkville. And my group account director looks at me and he says, "Good morning, how are you?" And I stared directly in his eyes and I said, "I'm fine." Little did he know that every time he asked me that, I was completely lying. I hated my job and I was miserable. Absolutely miserable. My name is Kimberley Smith. I'm a graphic designer and marketing consultant. I'm an owner of Young at Heart Painting. And I worked in long-term care for 9 years as an admissions coordinator and activity director. And I also worked in advertising for a few years as an account manager. And you'd think with all of that, I also like paint, I draw, I sew, and with all of those skills, how could someone with all this talent and creativity not like their job and not be happy? And I remember asking myself, there has to be something more to life. Until one day, it was just in the summer of 2017, one morning, something incredible happened. I got laid off. You know, this one word came to mind. 4 letters begin with the letter F. Fear, right? Fear came to mind. I was terrified. What am I going to do now? I'm already not happy in my job. Where am I going to go next? I definitely don't want to go back into the same position at another agency. That just didn't make sense to me. So I decided to take some time and really look at what is it that I wanted to do and really dive into what I wanted to do and what I was passionate about, because I definitely did not want to be miserable going into these workplaces again. So I took some time to discover what it is that I wanted to do, and somebody told me about a life coach, and at the beginning of, this was 2017, and someone said, "Why don't you try a life coach?" Well, I don't know, I was a little bit skeptical. I don't know what a life coach does. You know, I had no idea what they did. So I hired Tom Walters. Tom Walters he is a life and language coach, and he's also an author. And he said to me, "We're gonna meet and I want you to bring a journal." I said to him, "I don't journal. I'll paint you a picture, but I definitely don't journal." So I said, "I'll try it, I'll bring my journal." And I went down and I met him in a cozy little cafe downtown Toronto. And he sat across from me and I brought my journal with me. And the first thing he said to me is, he says, "I want you to write down everything that you have a complaint about." I thought, okay, we might need some time here. So I started to write and write and write. I came up with 20 things that I was not happy with. One of them, no, let me think about that. Probably 5 of them were related to my job. And as I spent time with him, he said, "Well, let's write down what you're good at." So I came up with a list of skills, things that I enjoyed. He says, what did you like to do? So I wrote down those things. What jobs have I had before? And I started to discover a little bit more about what it is that I had a passion about, but I still wasn't sure where I was going to go. During that time, it was the summer of 2017. My grandmother was in long-term care. And I remember visiting her. She was in long-term care, and I'd visit her with my parents, who you've already known, that are here right now. And I would go and visit my grandmother, and I remember going into the long-term care home and seeing all these ladies, you know, it was an evening or weekend time, and seeing all these ladies in their wheelchairs, you know, surrounded in this little common room by the TV, and I looked at them and I just felt, man, there has to be something more we can do with them. So as I continued to discover what it is that I wanted to do, I decided to take some courses. I took a 3.5-month course, and in that course I decided to create, the request was to create a project. So I created a project, and I thought, I'm gonna make my project about teaching seniors to paint. Hey, why not? You know, I just have to run this project once, I get to sit with seniors, and I love to paint. So in January 2018, I went up to Amica and Barrie, and a girlfriend of mine who was a programs manager, Natalie, had said, "Why don't you just run your project here?" I went up there, and I had 8 residents sit around a table. I brought all the supplies and she sat there with us, and I taught them how to paint a picture from beginning to end. I'd never taught painting before, I just did it for fun. And at the end of the class, it was really, really fun to be with those seniors. And at the end of the class, I said to her, I said, Natalie, what did you think? She's like, this is awesome. I want you back here in 2 weeks. I said, what? This is just for a project. I don't need to be here in 2 weeks. So I said, okay, let me try that. And she said, why don't you come for the rest of the year? I want you here bi-weekly. And I thought, if she sees something in this program, maybe there's someone else that'll like it. So I started to share what I was up to in this program with everyone I knew in my community. And during my journaling, I was writing down my experiences. And one of the questions I had in my journaling experience was to write down 100 people I could share this program with. So I went out there and I started to share. I shared with the lady at the Good Life. She gave me the towel in the morning. I shared with the people at my Starbucks barista. I told him about this painting program with seniors. And before I knew it, I had people contributing to me with ideas of, they would say things like, my mom's in a retirement home up in Newmarket. Why don't you try there? Or I know somebody that works in this home. They're a nurse. Why don't you try here? Before you know it, I had a list of actions just from sharing what I was up to. I wasn't selling anything. I was just having a conversation. And so after sharing and getting all these ideas, I had an accountability with my life coach, with my programs, and other people in my life that actually held me accountable to take those actions. I really needed the support to make that happen. By June 2018, I already had 10 clients that wanted me not only once a month, one time to teach that paint class, they wanted me for the rest of the year. So I said, if I have 10 clients today, and that's June 2018, how could I get even more clients? I continued to share and get out there, and I continued to talk about the program, and before you know it, the first year I had taught 100 classes. And I was just so excited and thrilled. And then what I really wanted to mention was, having that accountability to take those new actions, being able to share, and that journaling was really important for me to actually have what I wanted to create come true. And now when I actually look back on my journaling, me being up here right now is actually something I said I wanted to do years ago. And today's my first time speaking in public. So I guess really what I want to say is, for those of you that have an idea and you want to put that idea and you're thinking about maybe it could be something, I found my true passion with making a difference with people. It wasn't about the money, it was like, how can I get out there and make a difference with people? And now I see how much, how fulfilled I am in doing so. So I really encourage you to also take that action in your ideas and get out there and share what you want to do with the people around you. And in closing, Young at Heart Painting has had, by the end of this year, we'll have had 250 classes in the community. Young at Heart Painting is here we go. We'll have impacted over 3,000 seniors in 2019. And we're in over 30 retirement and long-term care homes. And that's it. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
So, thank you, Kimberly. Emily Chung is a licensed